to draw fire themselves to protect the larger ships. Northern Ireland became a frequent port of call for the destroyer escorts. Unique among these ships heading for Belfast Harbor was the USS Mason, the first American warship ever manned by an all-black crew. Although African Americans had comprised 40% of the Navy in the Civil War, since 1900, the Navy had relegated them to service as cooks and waiters. At the urging of Mrs. Roosevelt, the President commissioned the Mason to give African American sailors the chance to prove themselves and take a warship into combat.
All the boys on the Mason were all raised right here in this country, and we couldn't go to a movie show or sit down to a counter in Woolworths even. We had to go around to the back. Then next thing you know, we were on a ship. We're scared, and we go to Ireland. And the people didn't even look at us as our skin color. They looked at us as true American fighting men.
Our first maiden voyage was into Belfast. That was where our last stop.
That's it.
Was the maiden voyage, and took us 42 days.
There's always a question in your mind what you're gonna meet, how the people will greet you. Because here we were so many black guys. It was 160 of us on one ship. Whenever you go in any place, the captain always say, don't go alone. Be 2 or 3 together and stay together no matter what. So we are apprehensive at first, but then when these greetings start coming our way without any effort.
You see, sometimes when we talk about Ireland and how well we were received, you might get the idea that it was a novel experience for them, but if I'm not mistaken, I'm told that some black soldiers had been there prior to our arrival. So our coming in was not a novel experience. It was their normal way of treating people. That's what I'm impressed about.
One thing I noticed, that the girls, they were beautiful. They didn't wear any lipstick, no type of makeup, not one. And this was like in June of '44.
There's a girl sitting here, and I'm on one side, and another shipmate on the other side. And I had never learned to dance, but everybody was dancing. So somebody came over and asked this girl for a dance, to dance. And she turned to me and said, may I dance with him? Now that made an impression on me, showed me how courteous she was. And that's why I remember her name, Sadie O'Neill. I never forgot it.
The sailors were invited to Cayley's for traditional Irish dancing.
And she said, if you ever heard the blacker? And I heard that word black, see? My ears perked up. I said, what you say? She said, yeah, they had it blacker. Black? And the other guy said, I'm asking, what is she saying, man? What is she saying? She sitting on my lap calling me black something? and he said, oh, no, she wants to know if you ever heard of the blackout. And I said, oh, sure, New York, we have plenty of blackouts and all like that. And then we danced around in the big, I couldn't dance, but I danced around in that circle, but...
The circle, and you go one way, and then you go...
Yeah.
This way, the circle. Then all of a sudden, a beat from the band, and everybody started going the other way, and then you fall all over each other until I got used to it. I waited and listened for the beat, and when they went this way, I went this way. It was lovely. It was really beautiful. I thought that was wonderful. It made us feel good, all of us.
The most impressive thing for me was to meet people on the street, perfect strangers, how they walked up and greeted us. And it was such a shocker to me because the ordeal that we're going to in our own U.S. Navy, to get over there and these people, first time meeting us, came up with such courtesy. And one lady apologized for the weather being cloudy.
Yeah.
Apologized for the weather being cloudy. You know, just to be treated like that. And we had to travel all that distance to be exposed to that kindness, just human kindness that came out of those people's heart.
And when you contrast that with the way we were treated on the ferry that ran from, well, there's a ferry from Norfolk to Newport News or Chesapeake Bay. And I was sitting there in a lunch counter with one of my shipmates who was white, and we both ordered. The woman looked at me kind of strangely, but she gave me what I wanted. But then a little man about this big came out and said to me, he used the N-word, and told me that I should not be there and get up in uniform.
When I got to Ireland, like I say, it was the only place that I was called a Yank, and knew it. That's what they meant. They didn't say tan Yank like they did in other spots where we'd been. They called me Yank. The same thing as what the white sailors was being called, Yank. And it was good.
But the moments of fun were brief. Then it was back to the open sea and the dangers of convoy escort duty. The Mason's men led the way.